Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's our ICBA daily news update for today, Friday, January 19th, 2024. Sorry, we haven't had many of these lately. It's kind of a busy time. But as always, you can track us through ICBAindependent.ca, see all of our different news, analyses, and other advocacy stuff there. Today, I'm going to give you the heads up on a few different things. First of all, on LNG talks in PG, on Rachel Notley exiting stage left, and yet another difference between Canadians and Americans. For links to sources to these articles, please visit ICBAindependent.ca. That's our news blog. We, of course, can't post media links here on Facebook because of the Trudeau government's foolish Online News Act. We count down the days till that is relegated to the dustpan of history. All right. Prince George, it was the place to be this week as the British Columbia Natural Resources Forum drew 1,200 industry leaders, politicians, bureaucrats, and experts to talk energy trends, opportunities, and challenges. And we've got lots of opportunities and we've got lots of challenges, most of them self-imposed. With LNG Canada, the nation's single largest private investment in Canadian history, $40+ billion worth of private investment. With LNG Canada drawing ever closer to completion, Petronas VP Bryan Cox said, natural gas is poised to become BC's single most valuable export. Meanwhile, First Nations LNG Alliance CEO Karen Ogen told about her trip to smoggy China and how it reinforced for her the environmental value of switching coal plants to projects like Haisla Nation's Cedar LNG. There are a couple of plants, LNG plants, in the pipeline, literally, to follow LNG Canada. Both of them are have a significant or completely Indigenous owned, which is great. However, there's still so much more opportunity in British Columbia and Canada in general to export more LNG, to get more of Asia off of those smog-producing coal plants and onto a cleaner burning fuel, while at the same time creating jobs, creating economic spin-off, creating revenue for government, for in British Columbia. So, it's still mind-boggling to us at ICBA that, 8 years ago, 10 years ago now, I guess, when Christy Clark first started talking LNG, at the time, there was something like 24, 25 different proposals in BC. We've only seen one get across the line. That's LNG Canada. A few others that may get there: wood fiber LNG, Cedar LNG, Slism's LNG. But so much more opportunity. And, we were tied with America for 0 LNG exporting plants in 2013. And now the Americans are kicking our butts, something like 25 to 1. So lots of work to be done there. Hopefully the politicians get out of the way. Hopefully the bureaucrats smarten up. And hopefully we're able to get some more of our clean burning British Columbia LNG out to market. Okay, going east, Alberta. Former Alberta Premier Rachel Notley announced she is leaving as Alberta NDP leader. She was the one-term Alberta Premier, hung on after Daniel Smith defeated her NDP in the last election. And now she is leaving. There's lots of rumors she might go into federal politics. Who knows? That's the next chapter's up to her. Rachel Notley, complicated legacy, I would say. Under her watch, she did get TMX, the Trans Mountain Expansion, through, not in the form that most of us wanted, i.e. let the private sector take the risk. Instead, Justin Trudeau purchased the pipeline because his and other government policies were strangling it, essentially. And so he felt like they felt like they had to buy it in order to get it through. Look, from a BC perspective, I did enjoy when NDP Premier Rachel Notley would, kind of beat up BC NDP Premier John Horgan over TMX. Horgan had pledged to use every tool in the toolbox to stop the Trans Mountain Pipeline. He failed, and you got to give Notley some credit for that. But in other ways, her energy policy, it was such a mess, she was the one who hired Sephora Berman with $20,000 of Alberta taxpayer money, one of the most vicious opponents of Alberta oil and gas, and she puts her on the Alberta payroll. Not cool. That was a terrible tone to start with. You see all these. She's a very divisive figure. I'm really curious when I read what people think her legacy is. In fact, on our Facebook page, we do have that question. What is Rachel Notley's legacy? Yeah, there's TMX, but there was a lot of other things that just leave you scratching your head about where she thought Alberta was headed. All right, and finally, a difference between Canadians and Americans besides LNG. Canadians are grappling with mortgage payment shock in a way our American neighbors aren't, says RBC CEO David McKay. So this will actually keep the two countries' economies on very different paths. Canadian consumers with far less disposable income, because we're spending more on higher interest rates for mortgages, while Americans are still seeing retail sales grow and their economy is still humming along comparatively. The big difference? Americans can access 30-year fixed mortgages, while Canadians renew terms every 5 years or less. That makes us much more susceptible to big interest rate increases. So that's a big difference between the two economies, and explains a little bit why the Americans seem to be doing a little bit better than we are in Canada. All right, well, that's it for this week. I'm going to try to do these more regularly. Leave a comment below or send me an email, jordan@icba.ca, if there's something interesting that we should include in our next daily news roundup.